can get started. Now what we are going to see is Terraform. So we'll have to understand few things before getting into Terraform. Now this is my AWS account. Now this is my AWS account. For example, in this case, this guy is a system administrator, and this guy is a system administrator. Okay, who's handling this environment? Who's handling this environment? AWS Cloud. AWS Cloud. Now what happens? He is the one who set up all infrastructures in our cloud environment. All infrastructures in our cloud environment. Like it can be, he is the one who architect the design, and that a cloud application, cloud environment consists of EC2, VPC, and other services like S3, database, RDS, etc. etc. Now here, in this case, let's consider he is working for 4 years in a company. He worked for a company. He worked for 4 years in a company. Then, if he moves out of the company or the organization, if all of these environments, whatever he has set it up, if it doesn't have any proper, if it doesn't have any proper documentation, what will happen? A new guy who is coming, whoever is coming, will not understand what exactly it is, like how the infrastructure is being created, what is the purpose of what is the purpose of EC2 service, how many EC2 services are there, and everything will be in a mess. Basically, but the new guy will not understand how exactly the entire architecture is being designed or created. And the next thing, everything is a manual task. Everything is a manual task in the sense, here if I wanted to create 5 EC2 instances, I will have to create it 5 EC2 instances manually. The same way, if I wanted to create a VPC, I will have to create it manually. And everything is a manual process in creating all of these services using a console. So now whatever we are doing it here is all through console. So whatever I'm creating it here is all through console. Again, if I wanted to create an EC2 instances, what I will have to do? Again, I'll have to go launch an EC2 instance, and again I'll have to create it. Correct? In this case, a new tool called as Terraform comes into picture. It is not a very old tool at all. It was developed in the year 2014, if I'm not wrong. It was developed in the year 2014. Okay. Now, what this tool does it came up with a new concept called as infrastructure as code. Now, what we do, instead of creating it manually over console, so what we do is we create it as a code and we deploy it. Now what happens, anything which you created will have a trace of the code, correct? Like whatever, if I've created 3 EC2 instances, and I'll have a code of it, like so that, and moreover what happens is it brings reusability. Like I explain you all those things, it brings in reusability. So all you do is you write code once and you use it multiple times. And moreover, it brings in automation of infrastructure. Automation of infrastructure. And how this code is being created, so they call it as HCL language. So the whatever the code which we write to create this environment is called as HCL. It's called as HCL language. And how do we do it? How do we create it? And we will see everything step by step. Use of Terraform is to code your infrastructure. That is as simple as that. Like instead of creating everything over console manually, so what we do is we create everything using code. And what is that code? And that code is nothing but HCL. An extension of Terraform file is called as .tf files. .tf. Like for Ansible, we save it as .yml file, right? Likewise, any Terraform script will be saved in the form of .tf files. Now, using Terraform, what are all the services we can code? There are lots and lots of services which can be coded using Terraform, like major cloud platforms like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, IBM, and then other providers, like for example, if you wanted to manage any other softwares. In nutshell, I can show you the list of providers which Terraform supports. Terraform providers. Now, using Terraform, what all we can create it? These many services we can code it. So if I wanted to create, for example, if I wanted to create what are we seeing here? Let's consider if I wanted to create an SQL service. SQL server. Using Terraform, we can create it. For example, if I wanted to create a chef cookbooks, I can use Terraform to create it. If I wanted to create Azure Active Directory, Terraform supports. If I wanted to maintain the entire AWS cloud or Azure cloud or Google cloud, everything is supported using, everything is done using Terraform. GitHub, GitLab. So whatever we have seen here. For example, let's consider a use case where I wanted to create a user in GitHub. Now what we do, we manually log into GitHub and then we create user and then we whatever the permission which we wanted to assign it to the user, we will be able to do it. Now using using Terraform, we can do the similar setup also. See here, if I wanted to create any GitHub repository, I can create it. How we will create it, let's see. But whatever the manual task which we do using a console, which can be achieved using Terraform as well. And the main purpose of it is to code your infrastructure. How does it benefit? It benefits in such a way that we can keep track of the every resource which we configure using Terraform, and also if we wanted to reuse the code. For example, I write the code once like function, and then it can be used later everywhere wherever we wanted to. Is that clear? Now we need to understand few. Yes.
Is it open source or like it's a license
Yes,
based?
it's open source. It's open source. Whatever we are seeing is all open source. It's an open source. Cool. Now we need to understand few terms before we get into creating any services using Terraform. Those are.
Arun is the same kind of AWS cloud formation, right? If I'm not wrong.
It is similar to AWS CloudFormation, but with CloudFormation, all you can do is you can templatize only AWS cloud services. Other providers will not be able to do it. But with Terraform, there are lots of other providers like I've told you, like Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, Active Directory, GitLab, GitHub, RabbitMQ, Redis. There are n number of providers which are available for Terraform, wherein like with CloudFormation, all it does is you can templatize only AWS related services.
Thank you.
Cool. Here, the first one is resource. Resource is nothing but, for example, if I wanted to create an EC2 instance, let's consider I wanted to create an EC2 instance. EC2 instance. Now, what we define? No, before resource, let me put few things, few other things also. Providers. So providers are nothing but which one we are going to use it. For example, it can be AWS, or it can be GCP, or it can be Azure, or it can be Redis, whatever it is. So what we are going to code using Terraform. So which one it is, and the structure, basic structure remains same, but the functionality wise it differs from providers to providers. For example, in AWS we call it as EC2 service. In GCP it is called as VM. Correct? Those technology terminology differs, but the core concept remains same. And the next one is resource. What is resource? Let's consider we are using AWS provider. We are using AWS provider. Inside AWS provider, I wanted to create an EC2 instance. EC2 instance. In this case, what we do, we create a resource. We create a resource. This is called as resource. Any services inside your provider is called as resource. Whatever we are trying to create is then it's called as resource. Variables. So variables are nothing but an input value which can be defined while writing our Terraform script. Output. Now, output is the resultant value. For example, using a provider AWS, I'm creating an EC2 instance. Okay, let's consider an input value I'm giving. So, if I wanted to create an EC2 instance, what all is required? What all is required? If I wanted to create an EC2 instance in general over console, what all I need to give?
So
Uh,
we
that
have
is
to select
one
the
thing we have.
OS and then security group.
Okay, security group.
We start with the region, security group, the RAM memory, hard disk, space.
Okay, okay, instance type basically, correct? That is what you are mentioning
Yeah.
it here. Instance type, or whatever it is. Okay, now what we can do is we can input these values while creating our EC2 instance. That is nothing but variable. And the next one is, for example, after creating this EC2 instance, it will come up with some values. For example, instance ID, correct? Automatically it comes up with. Then instance IP address. And these are the output values. So whatever the input values which we are giving it, from that we will get an output value. So that is called as output. Okay. Terraform plan. This Terraform plan is a command. Okay. Terraform plan is a command. In the sense, for example, I have created all of these code using all of these all of these things. I've created a Terraform script. Now I wanted to test that script before I actually apply it. In that case, what we will do, we will run Terraform plan. So Terraform plan, what will happen is it will just do a dry run before we apply it. That is what Terraform plan. Terraform apply. So Terraform apply is a command which is used to apply all your changes. In the sense, if I wanted to create any EC2 instances, first what will I do? I will create the Terraform script. Then to test it, I will run Terraform plan. Then if everything looks good, then what we will do? We will we will then run Terraform apply. Then Terraform apply will apply all your changes in the script. then Terraform destroy. So destroy will delete all your changes, whatever is there in your, delete all your changes, delete all your changes. And the next one is Terraform init. Here, let's consider we are using AWS provider, correct? We are using AWS provider, and
Guru,
this.
sorry to interrupt. Shunna there.
Mhm.
So Terraform destroy means delete all your changes. Means suppose we create one EC2 instance, it will terminate the EC2 instance.
Yes, correct.
So
Yes, it is not
So
terminating EC2 instances. Any other services which you have created, and if you run Terraform destroy, it will delete all the services which you have created.
but it will means it will stop or it will terminate. Means can you
Terminate,
command
delete,
change the command?
delete. It will delete. It will not stop. It will delete.
Okay. And one suppose there is one dependency that before deleting that thing, I have to delete another thing. There in AWS there are some certain dependencies. So what will it will do? It will just skip it.
Yes, that we can do it. We can skip it also.
No,
We
means I
can
am
take.
asking means if there is some dependency means before deleting this instance we have to delete that not only EC2 there are some other thing in VPC also. So then what it will do? Terraform
It will
will
delete
skip it.
everything. It will delete everything.
Means if there is some prerequisite, then it will do that prerequisite and then delete the instance.
Yes, correct.
Terraform will
Yes,
take care of it.
yes, correct.
Okay, then very powerful. Yeah. Okay.
Then
You can
Terraform
go
init.
ahead.
Terraform init. Now here let's consider this is your machine from where we are running all of these scripts. Now here all we would have done is installed Terraform into this machine. Now I wanted commands which is specifically for AWS, correct? Only then AWS related configurations will work. In that case, after writing all your code, first you will have to run Terraform init. So what it does is it initialize all modules or all the required modules which are essential to run your script. That is nothing but Terraform init, which initializes all your modules which are required to run your service. I mean, run your scripts. That is nothing but Terraform init. Then what else is required? Very important thing is TF state file. TF state file. Name itself says, in the sense, TF state file is nothing but a state file which holds all configurations of whatever you have created using Terraform. In the sense, for example, I wrote a script where it creates one EC2 instance. Okay. Now, in the same EC2 instance, I mean the same script, what I'm doing it is I'm creating one more EC2 instance. Now, first one EC2 instance configuration is already added. One configuration is already added. It's already there. Correct? Now I'm adding second one. In this case, what it should do, it should not create the instance which has been already created. All it has to do is it has to create only the second one. How Terraform will know that one instance is already being created and only the second one has to be created? And in that case, Terraform state file comes into picture. So any configuration which you run, it first checks with your TF state file whether all of these configurations are matching your TF state file and with the current configuration file which you have written. If anything is missed, then it will create the required services. So that is the function of TF state file. Cool. Now, and this is one of the most predominantly or widely used tool in DevOps industry at this point of time. Till now, if like any infrastructure related activities are handled manually. Now everything is being coded, and Terraform is one of the important tool which is being used in the industry, and I would really recommend you guys to go through it. So we'll use AWS for our configuration. What is the first step? First step is to install Terraform on your machine. Now what I will do, I will use one of my EC2 instance which I've created. Okay, first what we'll do, let's install Terraform on that machine. So how do we do it? All you'll have to do is download Terraform. You will get the version of it. So all you can do is whichever version you wanted to install. If you're trying it in your local machine, you can use you can download Windows and then try it. Or if you have any Windows machine, just download accordingly. Let me download this one here. Copy and then wget. Yes. Now I've downloaded the file, and then you will see something called as this. Then what you need to do is you will have to move this file to, if it is Linux machine, move Terraform to user local bin. Then what you will have to do, check then cd space user local bin. Then once it is done, Terraform. Why it is not running? Terraform to user bin. Okay, so you will have to move, just download the file, just copying it and just writing it here, so that then move the file to move unzip, first unzip, second move the file to move Terraform to user bin. Once it is done, you will be able to you can check and verify with the command terraform -. And the latest version is this one. 12.24 is the latest version which is available. Now we are set with this. Now what is the next step? Let's consider we wanted to create an EC2 instance from this machine. In this case, what we will have to do is, now one logical question. Okay, if I wanted to manage this account, what is required? For example, if I wanted to manage this AWS account using an CLI, what is required? This is just a logical question.
Root keys.
What is required?
Keys, like in order to like log in and username and password.
Exactly. Correct. Here, so what we need to do is we need a credential where we can manage the account using our Terraform or whatever it is. For that, what we will have to do, first we will have to go and create one user. If somebody is new to the cloud, so what you'll have to do is go to service, IAM, IAM. IAM is the service which is used to create your user accounts. Then go to users. Then I'm creating a user with the name Terraform. Terraform. So all it needs is just programmatic access. Right? So I'm just giving programmatic access and then click next. Here, what we'll do, we'll attach existing policies directly. We'll give administrator access so that using the Terraform account, it can do anything it wants over this account. But in real time, you will have to come up with a best practice solution where we can actually give access to the console in a better way for any programmatic access. Now let me name it name Terraform, just Terraform, and then click review, create user, and then let me download this credentials 73. Close it. Now here what we are trying to do, so we are trying to create an EC2 instance using this Terraform. So what I'm doing it is I'm just going to one directory, and then what I'm doing, I'm creating one directory, mkdir, and then as Terraform. And then I'm going into that. I'm creating one more directory, mkdir. I'm creating DevOps. So in this directory only, we will have all our configurations will be in this directory. Correct. Here, what we'll have to create, we will have to create one file called as main.tf. Let me create one file here. In this, let me get into this file, insert. Now, what is the first step? If we wanted to manage, we will have to define provider and mandatory. So now, first what we will do, we will define our provider here. We will define our provider here. Version is nothing but earlier they were using 2.2 version 2. With 3 they have included so many other new services also, like ECS cluster, so many other services will also included in version 3 with new features. That's it. Now what I'm doing it, I'm just doing this one. That's it. Greater than or equal to 3 and provider AWS version region. Now it is done. Now what we will have to do, we will have to download that provider into our machine. How do we do it? Which command we use that to initialize all modules? Terraform.
Init.
Yes, Terraform init. So no provider.
Hold on, once you're done, can you please show me that file that AWS provider, that file was?
Yeah.
And Arun, can you explain this again, please?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
First. Version 2.8. Now what we are doing, we are going to configure AWS cloud using Terraform. Correct. Now, how will Terraform knows that For example, if I wanted to configure any of these things, let's consider EC2 itself. Let's consider EC2. Okay, and these are the commands which are available. Now these are the commands which are available. Let's consider. Now Terraform has to know all of these commands, correct? All of these modules. How do I use all of these resources? It can know only when I download this provider module. So what is that? Which is nothing but which we are defining it here. Now what we have defined it here? See, provider AWS with the version 2.8. That's it. You can even neglect this also at this point of time. Even you can neglect this also at this point. I will tell you. You can neglect this point, this at this point of time. Now what happens? Now Terraform has to know that okay, I'll have to manage AWS cloud using this Terraform tool. So in order to do that, we will have to download that provider. How do we do it? Using a command Terraform init. And always this Terraform command has to be run where your files are available, which is nothing but your main.tf file are available. Main.tf is available actually. Now how do we do it? Terraform init. See, now it checks for the plugin. Now it checks for the plugin. It checks for the plugin and it's downloading the provider AWS and it has been installed in a machine. Till now, any doubts?
I don't know. A small question. You gave the version here, right, of AWS.
Correct.
And if we don't give the version, will it not take the latest one or something like that concept
No,
we don't have here?
yeah, that is actually mandatory, which we will have to provide. Which we will have to provide it. Now here, if I run any configuration for Azure, will it work? Any answers? If I wanted to configure Azure here,
Yeah, we need to again change the
no.
provider and then.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. With this configuration, it will not work because we have downloaded plugins only for AWS. Okay. Now we know that we wanted to configure AWS account. Now, how AWS, I mean, how this Terraform will know that which AWS account I will have to manage? It will not know. Correct. In that case, what we will have to do, we will have to configure credentials of that AWS account with this Terraform. How do we do that? In.tf. So what are the keys which we have created? Just give me a moment. Access key ID. What was that? Now here we will have to give our credentials, whatever we have created. Access key ID, shift insert. Pass your access key ID and then pass your that's it. Good. This is our configuration now. This is our configuration. Now let's create an EC2 instance. Let's create an EC2 instance. Now our Terraform is ready to configure our AWS account. Okay. Now here what we will do, we'll create an EC2 instance using Terraform. So how do we do it? You can either use main.tf or if you really wanted, no, you can create multiple files also. At this point of time, let's not do that. What we'll do, we'll continue editing our file. if I wanted to create any resource, then what I should use? I should use a resource, correct? I should use a resource. Now let's go and get the what we are trying to configure. We are trying to configure EC2. I'm trying to make it simple so that you understand it. That's it.
And also the top comment, that access key and secret access key, what we are doing.
So this one we have seen, right? Access key and secret key. Now, access key and secret key is unique to each and every account. For example, I have an AWS account. You also have an AWS account, and others will also have their own AWS account. Now, using Terraform, how will I define which AWS account I will manage it? And that is where a access key, secret key comes into
Okay,
picture. Access key and secret key is nothing but like username, password, which
okay.
gives you programmatic access to your AWS console. Okay, and now what next step is we are defining what we wanted to do. We wanted to create an
But
EC2 instance.
these are the secret key. So if we just expose it, means it we can download, I believe. But if we just expose it like openly, anyone can use it, right? In the
Yeah,
real
you
world
can.
introduction.
No, whatever we are doing here is like LKG. Okay, what can we achieve? There are best practices which are there, which we will have to follow in order to make sure that these access keys and secret keys are not being exposed. Everything is possible, but we will have to do it.
Okay,
That is possible.
okay.
Okay. Now what I will do, I will
I'm new to AWS, so do we need to understand AWS? Like, I don't know about AMI and all those things. So is
yes.
it highly required?
Yes, it is mandatory. Actually, if for example, if you are working, if you want all Terraform does it is like coding your environment, right? If you
Yeah.
wanted to learn that, you wanted to know how it works basically, only then you can code it. You
Okay, so
will
in
have
short, it is a part of AWS, correct? It will be a part of AWS
no, it is
instead
not
of.
part of AWS. It is not part. That is what I'm telling you, right? Terraform is like is
No,
something
no,
which you
no.
can use it
Yeah,
across
I
your
mean to say
cloud.
it's an independent platform, but it is basically used on a AWS where we can do all configurations and infrastructure thing.
Correct. If you wanted to use it on Azure, you can still use it. If you wanted to
Yeah,
use it on Google Cloud, you can use it.
independent
This
platform, but can be used in a multiple way,
yes,
multiple
correct.
things.
Correct. You need to understand how AWS works or Google Cloud works
Mhm,
so that you can implement
mhm.
this. And
Okay.
you being a DevOps engineer, nowadays it is mandatory to know at least one cloud platform. That is
Okay.
very much important. It need not to be AWS itself. It can be Azure or Google Cloud or whatever it is. But DevOps engineer is someone who works on end to end, right? So the
Yeah, yeah.
cloud platform is mandatory.
Okay.
Good. Now let's see. Now what it does. AMI is nothing but like, for example, AMI is nothing but like when we launch an EC2 instance, what we do. Like see, whatever we are doing it here, we are doing it there whatever we are doing it here manually, we are doing it there also. Now what we do, we select an AMI here, right? We select an AMI, right? So instead of just selecting over console, so what we do is we give an AMI ID. Every image as an ID. Every image as an ID, and that is what we are giving it here. Okay. Now, what are all the features it supports? Let's consider if I wanted to create an EC2 instance. These are the arguments which you can pass it. In the sense, which availability zone you wanted to pass, like US East 1A or US East 1B, everything. Now at this point of time, what else is required? As mandatory, what else is required? We need key, correct? We will create key name. So these are the arguments which are being passed to the script so that we can create an EC2 instance. Now let's consider key -name, which is nothing but I have one key which is DevOps, and tag is nothing but the name which we generally we give while creating an EC2 instance. Now name equal to, let's consider Terraform first instance. Terraform instance. Terraform instance. Now our first script is ready. Now what are we are doing? See, this AWS underscore instance is the keyword. Which resource is what which we are creating? Which resource which we are creating here? We are creating AWS instance. This is the name of the resource which we are giving it. Okay, and for this AWS instance to launch an EC2 instance, what all is required? We can pass. See, anything which is given required is mandatory. There is arguments AMI and instance type is mandatory. To launch an EC2 instance, these two parameters are mandatory. Other than that, we can customize all other configurations. All other configurations we can customize it. Now, till here we are done. A resource AWS instance, Terraform, AMI we have given, instance type we have given, key name we have given, and then we have given a name for this EC2 instance. Now let me.
If the key name is optional, right? If you are not providing key name, what key it will take by default?
It will not take any key. EC2 instance will be launched without an PEM key. In that case, you will not be able to log into that machine.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is the next step? We will have to Terraform.
So, Varun, this PEM key, 1 minute, is the above that key you have provided, it will be downloaded automatically. Means when you are installing EC2.
Okay. Okay. So I
when you are launching EC2, it just download it, or you can use that existing PEM key.
No, at this point of time, yeah. So okay, let me explain. I already have a key. I already created a key with the name DevOps. So now what it will do, the new instance whatever we are creating will be associated with this PIN key. Correct? I already have a private key of this key pair. Then I can log into that machine.
If I don't have it, suppose I mention is a DevOps 2, I write it, then it will just install.
No, it will
new
not.
key. What there?
Yes. No, it will not create a new PEM key. It will not create a new PEM key. You will have to create a new PEM key and then associate with this EC2 instance.
Oh, okay.
Terraform plan. Correct. So why do we do Terraform plan? So we run Terraform plan to check whether all our configurations are done properly or not. Let's do it here. Now here, See, it is asking in which region we will have to configure it. You remember? So while configuring providers, there was one option here, region, correct? Which I have deleted it. Region. Now here you can define your default region. US East -1 is Virginia. I have defined it here. Now if I run Terraform plan, US East 1. Why it is showing error? Because now let's run Terraform plan. See, the main thing is, if there are any issues with your configuration, when you run Terraform plan, it shows the error. Whatever error you have it in your configuration, it will show it. After fixing it, again, what you can do is you can run Terraform plan. AWS access key is not expected here. Then what is the command? It is access key and secret key. So let me change it. Main.tf access key. Access key. Access underscore key. Then now we have fixed that issue also.
Arun, for that secret, right? I think it was misspelled.
Just looking here.
And also for a key name, it should be underscore, right? Instead of hyphen. Key hyphen name. Right?
Yeah. Key underscore name. Now what will I do? Terraform. Now what it says? It says new mission will be launched. So this will be the configuration. Now what will I do? So how will I create a new mission here? I mean, if I want to apply these changes, what will I do? What will I have to do? Terraform.
Apply.
Which command? Apply.
Apply.
Terraform apply.
Yeah, Arun, we have only main.tf. That's the reason we are not providing any name there.
No, you can provide anything for understanding purpose. We have started with main.tf. Then we just go again also. Like what all we can do it, we just proceed.
Okay.
Now you will have to give yes. The moment you give yes, it says error. No subnets found for the default VPC. Please specify the subnet. Now what happens is, since whatever we have given it here, it tries to launch it on the default subnet. Now what I've done, I've deleted my default subnet. I've deleted, when you look at here VPC, see here I've deleted the default subnet and I've created my own subnet. With that configuration, what it does is, so whatever we have done here, So whatever we have done here, it tries to create this EC2 instance in the default subnet. Now that is what we got an error. See, for launching source instance missing no subnets for the default VPC, please specify the subnet. Now what we will do, we will go configure main.tf, then include one more configuration, which is nothing but subnet. Let's check whether it is right. Subnet underscore ID. That is the argument which we will have to pass. And this is the subnet ID. Now again, what we will have to do after making changes, Terraform plan. Okay, now if you look at here, it will say that subnet ID is this one. Correct? Earlier, when you look at, you would have not seen that. Now Terraform apply. Cool. Now we can see that one resource is added. Let me go to my EC2 instance. Earlier it was one instance running. Now it is two instances. Second instance, this instance is running here, and whatever configuration which we have given, it has come up. Now you can see one thing here. It did not have any public IP address. Correct? It did not have any public IP address. Now in this case, what we can do, what is required, if I wanted to connect to this machine, a public IP address is required. Correct? Now let's create a public IP address for this machine and then attach it to it. Now in this case, Terraform apply is already done. Earlier you will not see one file called as terraform.tf state. After you apply your first change, this file will get created, terraform.state file. What is the purpose of this terraform.state file? It maintains all the information about your configuration. This is your instance ID. See, this is your instance ID. The state file maintains all information about the resources which are configured using Terraform. Now let's see. Now what is the second requirement? If we wanted to attach any public IP address to that machine. Of this machine. Okay. Now in this case, what we wanted to do, any cases, if I wanted to create a public IP, there is a resource called as AWS EIP. Correct? There is a resource called as AWS EIP. Just go there. Here, what will I do? Create and so this. Now what we are doing here, we are creating one more resource, which is nothing but AWS EIP, and let's name it as Terraform Terraform instance AIP. Now, this is nothing but getting a value of, this is how we get value of other machine. So whatever we got it here. See, the whatever we are getting it here, the what is this? Syntax is the older version syntax. Here we don't need that. This all of these things are not required. Now what I need, to which machine we are attaching this elastic IP? To this machine, correct? And what is the resource name? Which is AWS underscore instance. And what is the name of the resource? What is the name of the resource? Which is Terraform. It is Terraform. And ID, to understand that, we will have to understand a bit about what are all the values it results. Let's consider, where is the EC2 instance? AWS instance. See, attribute reference is nothing but what are all the values it can result. In the sense, see, what are all the values you get it in your TF state file. Terraform.tf state file. Here, what is that? ID, correct? See, this value, it results from this configuration. What is that configuration? This value holds this machine. Now what we are doing it, in this configuration, I'm creating one more service which is nothing but EIP, and this will after creating that elastic IP, it has to be attached to this EC2 machine. How do I know that to which EC2 machine I will have to attach? Using this configuration value, AWS instance.terraform.id. This ID actually holds what? The value of that machine, which is nothing but this one. This actually, this one, the value, this one, let's consider, if I run this value, what will happen? Terraform plan. See what happens. It creates an EAP and then attaches and gets attached to that EC2 instance. Same way, what will happen? Let's see if I give that value. I'm replacing it with, so these are dynamic values which we can get it. How do we get it? AWS underscore instance underscore dot terraform dot id. Now again, if I run terraform plan, see, we got the same value. Now let me apply it. Terraform apply. Ask for check, select yes. Now you don't see that public IP, any public IP is being attached here. Now if I refresh it here, see, one IP got attached to it. And this is how it works. Now, using the same concept, what we can do is we can create any number of services which AWS provides with bit of fine tuning that is required. That is required according to a configuration, the best practices which we follow and everything. Now,
as per my understanding, we are cloning the AWS instance from this command.
No, we are not cloning. We are creating. Cloning is something different. Yes, tell me.
We are, as you are mentioning that we are not cloning, so it's not the same server like earlier transformer. If we are
No. See here, this is the instance which we have created first, correct? Using this configuration, vi space main.tf. This is the first configuration which we have done earlier, correct? This created this EC2 instance. When it got created, we did not have an IP address for that machine. For that to add, what we have done, we have created this configuration. Now, ideally, how it works is it checks for the configuration, and if any resources are already being created, it will not again created. So whatever the new configurations are added to it, only the new configurations will take effect, and the older one will not take effect. Is that still confusing you?
Yes, but if we are not cloning, so it's like a base machine, simple base machine. There is no software or anything else.
No. See, if I wanted to create one more machine, let's consider. If I wanted to create one more machine. So I didn't understand what do you mean by base machine. So what I trying to refer there is what I don't understand. Let's consider I want to create one more machine. Okay, this is also the same configuration. I'm naming it as Terraform 1. The same configuration. Okay, like the previous machine, but with a different name. Now, if I run Terraform plan, not run because of Terraform 1. See, whenever we are running this plan, what it does, first it checks with our TF state file. It is checking with TF state file, and it says that this ID is already created, this EC2 instance is already created, and then this Elastic IP is already created. Now what it does, only the new configuration, which is AWS underscore instance dot Terraform 1 will be created, because this information is not there in the TF state file, which means that we have not applied this change. Now let me apply it. Terraform. Difference.
So that means we are creating the instance on the
Yes.
AWS through the CLI.
Yes, not using CLI, using Terraform. CLI is different.
Okay.
We are using Terraform to create resources in AWS. The same way, like in AWS, we can use Terraform to create resources in Azure also, Google Cloud also, or whatever the provider it supports.
Okay.
Now here, when you look at, earlier we had only one instance. Now you will see two instances, correct? Terraform hyphen instance and Terraform instance hyphen 1.
So in that case, like it's easier to create the instance from the GUI. I understand most of the people are using CLI. I am also using most of the part in the CLI. All these things. It is very difficult to remember all the commands to create this TF file.
Let me give you one use case. Where you wanted to create 5 EC2 instances, 4 subnets, 2 VPCs, and 6 subnets, 5 Elastic IPs, and then some RDS instances. Let's consider you wanted to create all of these things. Where's print? Sorry. Let's consider this is your environment, okay? Where this is a dev environment where you wanted to launch 4 EC2 machines, 4 Elastic IPs attached to it, and then 2 databases. Let's consider 2 databases, and then what we can do, We will create some load balancers, one, two, some load balancer. These are the AWS services. Now, this is your dev environment. I'm just giving you one example. This is your dev environment. Okay. Now, in this case, what you will do, all you need is you wanted only for 8 hours every day. 8 hours every day. Since it is dev machine, post your office hours, nobody will work on these machines. Okay. In this case, what you need to do, every day morning, you will have to come, create the entire resource, and then while going home, you will have to delete all the resources, whatever you're feeding it in the morning. And next day, again, when you come back, you will have to create all of these resources manually. And this process continues every day. Correct? In Terraform, what happens? You templatize your requirement only once. Then what you can do is, while going home, just do Terraform destroy. The moment I say yes,
Okay, now I think it's clear. Like in VMware, there is a concept the people are using the virtual machine for one day and they destroy and they come to the next day, they will get new machines for R&D purpose sometimes.
yeah, this is one use case I'm telling you. This is one use case, simple use case. There are lots of other use cases also. Now, if again wanted to create, see, in this case, when I check here, all of these machines will be deleted. Correct? You don't have to go manually and delete one by one in the console. And now, next day when I come back, if I wanted to create a new set of environment, just go to the place where you have created your script and then just give Terraform. Yes, it will create all of the instances based on your configuration. Again, you don't have to create it. Done. All it took is 30 seconds to create all your environment. Let's consider a situation where you wanted to launch 20-25 resources. Every time when you do it manually, it takes at least 1 hour or 2 hours only to launch it. All you have to do is just create a template once and then you can use it as many times it is possible, as many times it is required. Did that help? Did that answer your question?
Arun,
Good. Now, next one is, do you hear any doubts?
One more thing around. You're getting this AMI IDs and everything. So are we really going manually and checking on the AMI IDs or AMI IDs or we'll use the AWS CLI to get them? I mean, like how does it work like in the real time scenario?
See, in real-time scenario, what happens is like there are multiple ways where we get AMI IDs automatically also. That is also possible. We can get it. We can get those keys, AMI IDs automatically, and then we can pass it as a variable, and then we can use it. That is possible.
Okay.
In this case, for a simplicity, I mean, we are just using all of these things. Now, see, it becomes more effective or more powerful as and when it goes. Like when we start talking about other configurations, you'll understand the actual purpose of it. Now let's talk about something called as variables. Now, the same concept is same. Variable is nothing but if you wanted to input any variable, then we use concept called as variable. Correct? If you wanted to pass any, if you wanted to pass any values from the user or get values from the user, then we define variable. And how do we do it? There are multiple ways to do it. One, what you can do is you can create a file called as variables.tf, whatever it can be. I'll give it as inputs.tf. inputs.df. You can create the same method also. I created with the name inputs.df. So what we can do is, let me get some values from the user. Somebody, I think Paul has asked, right? Why do we have to give this value automatically here? If I give, everybody can use it, right? So what we can do is, we can define it as a variable so that it doesn't being exposed. Now what I will do, I will define it in such a way that give var dot access underscore key and then var dot secret underscore key. So in this case, after defining it here, so go to inputs.df file. We will have to define that variable. So how do I define that variable? Key name is variable and give the name variable. Let's, what is the name I'm giving? Access underscore key. Then open bracket and then go close bracket, and then name is, we will have to define which variable type it is. Now what variable type it is? That is string. And there are different types of variables also, like list of string, maps of string, tuple of string, lots of other things are also there. This point of time, let's not get into that level. So the value which we require there is string. And how do we do it? Type equal to string. That's it. The same way, we have one more variable also, secret underscore key, type equal to string, and then close it. Now with this, what happens? Now let me check the configuration, whatever I've done, Terraform plan. See, now here it asks for the value. What is the value? Var.access key, which I will have to give it from. And then secret value. And that's it. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, to secure this access key and secret values, you're defining in our inputs dot file, right? So, in order to be more secure in the real time, like do they use any vault kind of thing or something like that?
Yes. Okay. So what happens is, here they actually encrypt all these values. So any values which are sensitive, any sensitive informations, whatever here, people will generally encrypt it using services like Vault, whatever you are saying it, like Vault can be used, and then AWS KMS services there. Using those services, people will generally encrypt the data. So that is how in real time it works.
Okay, thank you.
Any doubts till now?
Vikas here. The question
Okay.
related to AWS rather. Can I somehow see all my resources created across all regions some way?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can do it using CLI. You can get it. You can do
Okay,
it. There
because
are
what happened was, I mean, my default thing was set to Oregon.
okay.
And when I used this example, this was US East, which is something like North Virginia. And so I was trying to find out that, I mean, the execution of that script happened successfully. It created the instance, but I
Okay.
was not able to see that. And later I realized that, okay, it is into a different region, and then I had to browse through multiple regions to see, okay, where
Okay.
that is. So it got created, but then, I mean, if some parameter goes wrong, then something like this, I might not even know that where I have created how many instances.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, what you can do is the easiest and tricky way of doing it is like you can check your a billing account. So in billing, it shows all the region where your resources are being created.
Okay.
So that is one way of doing it. But technically, there are scripts AWS CLI which you can run it across your account and get all the resources which are. And lots of Python scripts are also available where you can get all the information about the resources.
Okay. Okay. Another thing is, like when we see the listing of our instances, it shows us things like, I mean, it shows availability zone, uh,
Mm-hmm.
right? Something like US East 1B, 1A, and so on and so forth,
Correct. Correct.
right? Whereas when I go to the status bar and look at the names, the number name
Mm-hmm.
is only like US West 2, US
Mm-hmm.
East 1. So A, B, and all that selection is not there. Does that
Okay. If
question make
I'm
sense?
not wrong, no, if I'm not wrong, your understanding is like where do I give that availability zone is what your question?
No. So how do I
If
relate to availability zone, as I kind of probably understand, is like there can be multiple replication zones within a region, right? So on my
It's not
menu, that is,
it's not a replication zone. So to understand that bit of again AWS knowledge is required. So how do we do it? For example, let's consider this is our Virginia region. Okay, this is
hmm,
whole Virginia. This is whole Virginia. Now North Virginia. North Virginia. In that they will have multiple availability zones. Availability zones are nothing but your individual data centers. These are separate data centers which are spread across Virginia, which are isolated from each, not isolated, which are separate from each other. Like for example, let's consider this is in Bangalore. Let's consider whole Virginia,
hmm,
like Karnataka. Now this is in Bangalore, and this is in Mysore. Okay, this is one availability zone. Let's consider this is US hyphen East hyphen 1A. A represents your availability zone. And this is your one more availability zone. Let's consider US hyphen East hyphen 1B. One represents your region and B represents your availability zone. And likewise, there are multiple availability zones. So people generally like create EC2 instances across multiple availability zones for better or high availability.
okay, fine. But I mean, can I select, because I tried giving US West dash 2B in one of the
2B.
parameters,
Okay.
right? Because
Okay.
that was the availability zone which I was seeing on my GUI,
Okay.
right? So when I did that, it gave me an error that this particular zone or something does not exist. Let me read
So
out what
where
was
did
the
you
error.
pass? So which argument did you use? So you are passing or creating an instance with availability zones, right? So have you passed with this value? See, for example,
Uh,
if I wanted to launch any EC2 instance in a specific
hmm.
availability zone, right? Then I will have to create it.
No, I got it. I passed with it with region. So,
Ah,
and I should
so
have passed it with
that
availability zone.
yes,
Okay,
correct.
got it.
So in this case, so that is what this argument comes into picture. So all of these arguments has to be passed accordingly. If I wanted to create any new volume and then attach to it, then I will have to use this arguments.
So, and I mean, excuse me if I'm asking this again and again. I probably missed the user configuration part, which you were, I mean, the password. You said no, as an argument it can be passed and all that stuff. So,
Yes, correct.
can it be used if there are, multiple users managing a particular site, like in a real life environment, their same AWS account, say in a 24/7 shift, I'll have multiple AWS admins managing that, right? So, can that be a use case of that parameterization of this access key and secret key? Can multiple users?
Okay, in that case, if we go that way, right? So whatever we are doing it is from one machine. In that case, CI comes into picture, where all of these running, like, so where we are running Terraform plan, we are running it in this machine, correct? Now,
Right.
in that case, what we will have is, we will have one centralized machine like Jenkins or CircleCI or someone, where all configurations will happen from this guy's laptop. Let's consider we have 10 guys who are working on that configuration. So all will do their changes in their machine, but apply will not happen from this machine. Like, let's consider this is laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3. Okay, laptop 1, 2, 3. Okay, what they'll do is they'll push all their changes to Git or somewhere. Okay, Git can or someone, and with this we can integrate with our any Jenkins or some CI tool, and this will take care of your deployment, so that you don't have to give credentials to all of these users itself. Giving credential to user itself is a big flaw. We cannot give them. So we will have one centralized place where all configurations will be managed.
Okay. Well, makes sense. Right. Okay.
So in real time use case, now what we are trying to do is we are just trying to understand how it works. But in real time use cases, the entire configuration or the dimension itself will be different in the way we use any of the tools which you have seen.
Okay. Right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.